Good evening, Ms. Shakina. My name is Kirdev and these are my beloved classmates, Darshini and Divya. So it's a pleasure to meet you today. Thank you so much for taking out your time and to allow us to interview you for our subject Supervisory Management. So let's not waste our time, let's begin, and I will start asking you first question and then we'll go with Darshini and Divya. So my first question is, tell us about yourself and also your experience working in the company that you're currently working right now.
First of all, thank you so much for inviting. And hi, I'm Shakina Naveen. About my background, I did my diploma in pharmacy in MSU, and I continued my degree, bachelor's in pharmaceutical science, also in MSU. And then my work experience, I would say I've worked in retail pharmacy, and then in DKSH. Currently, I'm working in DKSH as an executive.
Alright. So how many years have you been working in retail pharmacy?
Retail pharmacy was part-time.
Okay, part-time.
That was all the years of me studying diploma and degree. Degree half, so about 5 years of retail pharmacy.
And how long have you been in this DKSH company?
This would be my 4th year.
Your 4th year. So what is your best experience with this company?
Probably it's just beside Paradigm Mall, so yeah, I can just walk off Paradigm Mall all the time. Also that I love the off days. They have like plenty of off days. Sometimes I will be thinking if I remember working on my off days, maybe this is now, not before this. Because this now it's a bit lenient for me to take off. So yeah, I love the off days here.
Alright, so my second question to you is, how would you describe your management skills in your company?
My management skills, I would say, I give examples. I set examples of what my staffs or my colleagues should do. Rather than asking them or giving them instructions, I give them an example of how to do. And if they are not sure about it, I ask them to come back. And that is always about examples instead of asking them to find a way how to do it.
Right. So what is your daily routine with them basically?
Basically, my work will be getting orders. We will get orders from our clients asking for this particular medications and things like this. And we will have to prepare the medications. Someone have to check it. And then we have to pack, invoice, and we will dispatch it out.
Yes. Right. So my third question to you is, tell me about the challenges that you face at work and also how do you deal with it?
The biggest challenges right now that I'm facing would be staffs taking off. Right. What happens is when they take off, it affects my workload. So it's always that the staff EL, AL, MC, sudden half day, and half the day through they will be working and they're like, I need to go now. So all these things, what will happen is it affects my workload. So it's not that I already have a quite big immense amount of workload, and then when someone is not there and I have to do their work. So that would be my biggest challenges in coping up with staffs that is with frequent offs.
So basically you're the senior within them.
Yes.
Alright, okay. So my last question to you is, tell me about a time that you actually had to manage a difficult employee. I'm sure you have been through this.
Yes, difficult employee always. That this particular employee that I've been saying now, this off employee, how I deal with them is I ask them, I talk to them. I personally take some extra time with them, asking what's their problem and speaking up with them, saying that if this continues, this is going to affect their work, which means getting a warning letter and then getting a suspension and then eventually termination. And as we know that this is a very hard time to get a job, and so I always remind them that you are in a good place, and so try to secure it. There's plenty of people out there who really need to take the opportunity.
I think so. I'm done. Thank you, Ms. Shakina. I'll pass it to Darshini.
So hi Miss. So my question to you is, how do you delegate responsibilities?
Delegate responsibilities, usually I come up with planning what we have to do. There is a small brainstorming every morning, assembling everyone. It's just a very small team, so we assemble them and we try to ask them what to do on that day. So it's just a reminder on your daily routine. Even though that we know that it's our daily routine, sometimes we tend to forget. So daily morning brainstorming is one of a part of the job scope actually.
Okay. My next question to you is, what is your biggest management weakness?
My biggest management weakness would be managing my own personal time, because this medication, sometimes we have cancer medications, urgent medications and things like that. So mostly what happens is it affects a lot of my personal time in a way that I couldn't, in the beginning days, I couldn't take my off, I couldn't plan family time, me time and things like that. Sometimes I had to answer calls at 4 in the morning and things like that. So my biggest weakness was, at that time I wasn't able to manage my personal time. I'm working for an 8 to 5 job from Monday to Friday and Saturdays 8 to 1. So sometimes during my early days, I used to work on Saturdays until up to 6 and 7 and things like that, because we have a few clients that have 24-hour clinics and hospitals and things like that. So that would be it, managing my own personal time.
Okay. In your opinion, tell us about your criteria on how would you hire your personal or your employee?
Many years back, I used to think that all these bosses and people who is HR, who is responsible in picking up or choosing a candidate, is very biased in choosing single people more than married or having. Even though married, sometimes they absorb married people, but they don't absorb people who have kids. But being in this line now, I see why. I can understand why do they really go for single people, because I see less commitment and all these things in single people compared to married and kids. So sometimes we have employees calling in saying that, sorry, we couldn't come, my daughter fell off, my daughter is sick. Yes. Sometimes it would be a mix of working time, and they will just like, I have to go now, my daughter fell down in the school. So, and I never see that such thing in single people, even though they have parents. I don't encounter, haven't seen yet, I have to go, my parents fell down and things like that. I see a lot kids, people who have kids and also people who is married, especially also who is pregnant. A lot of appointment, medical, yes, in the morning appointment, and also MC, morning sickness and all this.
Okay, my last question is, how do you manage your workload?
My planning. I used to plan down, and then I used to write things to do, and then I write down whatever I need to do, and I will highlight, tick, and whatever I cannot do, I didn't highlight, I didn't tick, I will bring the next thing. Yes.
This task is given to you, like you know what you're doing, or you're given by the boss or your HR, you know?
This task is my daily routine. At the same time, I will get random calls, my boss just texts up and say that you have to do this by today, you have to send me this by today, this report, and my accountant will be calling me. So this, my basic, I will write down whatever I will do in my routine, and there's plenty of other non-routine goals also.
Hi, Shakina. My first question is, how do you resolve workplace conflict?
I try to manage as much I can. I try to talk to them and everything. If ever I couldn't, I am not able to, that is when I bring it to my superiors. We have a HR person who is a professional in handling things like this with staffs. So we try to go with them. And also only when the HR personnel also can't do anything, they go to my boss. Where usually bosses, they take the very, very strict decision where they terminate. So we try to avoid that. We try to speak among us first and then go to my HR.
My next question is, give an example of how you work to achieve targets within a tight time frame.
Again, the plan. Yes, I write the planner, and I usually have highest priority to the lowest priority. The lowest priority is whichever that I can delay or which I can bring the next day. The highest priority is the one that I have to finish hook or crook by on that day itself. So usually that is how I once I write down the planner, I come up with the priority, which I have to do the first and the last.
Do you do it alone or do it with your partner?
Whichever that I am writing here, this is alone.
Oh, your
Yes,
alone.
my alone.
Okay.
There is some I wrote for me to instruct others.
Okay.
Actually, in this department, my work I'll be doing mostly alone, and my other jobs, to complete my job, I have helpers.
Okay, very good. Yes.
Okay. By the way, how your boss will encourage the employees?
Last year, I was given 2 days, 3 days, 2 days, 2 nights stay at Tambun. Actually, I was supposed to go get an overseas ticket, but then I was not able to take my off. I had to finish because we had one staff that was on medical leave for a very long time. So I was not able to go for a very long holiday. So they gave me a small holiday. Apart from that, they encourage by giving us incentives, bonuses, and also annual leaves. They increase the annual leave upon our performance. So yeah, you really want to work hard to get
My third question was, what has been your biggest success as an executive?
I would say that before I came into this position, there was another employee. What she had been doing was she was been purchasing a lot, which the bill went up to millions, from 500 to 1 million Malaysian ringgit. So that has affected the company a lot. So what happens was once I take over, I try to minimize the spendings, expenditures, purchasing only whatever that is necessary. So that had brought down the purchases from 150,000 to 200,000. So it's a very big difference. Yes, my boss was definitely very happy. I haven't get yet what he promised me. He actually promised me a ticket to Japan next year. So, but I haven't yet, so I still don't believe. let's just hope that I managed to go next year. Yeah, that was a complimentary of what I did for last year.
That's so nice. And then my last question is, how do you foster a positive and inclusive work culture within your team?
I tend to always to make the working environment as easy and free as we can, because I've worked in terrible working places and I know how it feels. I know how bad superiors and all these stuff, how it affects our mental health. There are days that I've cried not going work, that is in my previous jobs. So I try to make the environment as good, as happy as I can, because that's the most time we spend in our day. A positive environment, good term with our colleague, and if ever we have any problem with our colleague, I usually ask to come and talk to us. There is no cucuk belakang, things like that. You can just directly come and tell that you are not happy with this person because they are doing this kind of things, instead of cucuk things, boss, or things like that. Yeah. So I would say that I try to ask them to talk first, as much as they can, before we go to another.
So you won't force the employees basically?
Very rarely. Very rarely forcing them, because they usually listen.
So it's not hard to deal with them, basically.
Just about the leave.
Okay, my last question is, what is your advice for future young generation?
I would say, because I studied here, when I walked down here, I remember my old days. I remember that how difficult it was, how difficult this study was, how difficult this journey was. Especially because I was studying diploma and degree. I took bus, 2 buses from my home, and then I had to walk all the way from the behind bus stop to here. That takes about 15 minutes. That time we don't have Grab and things like this. I'm not sure if we even have. I don't think so. We had a few years back. So it was very difficult, and after my classes finished, I used to work part-time. That is when I worked in the retail pharmacy. Yes. Once the retail pharmacy contract finishes, I was working in malls. I've worked in a lot of places actually, a lot of tuition centers and things like that. But what I would say is never give up, because now when I see back, it was worth it. It is worth it.
Yes,
It's worth it. The hardship that you are going through, that one subject that is super difficult to pass or go, it will eventually pass. It's worth it when you see, when I walk back to the staircase just now, it was like, oh God, this was so difficult. But yeah, here I am, not at the very big position, successful or things like that, very famous person, but I would say I'm very happy where I am now. Very content, and I have very big gratitude on everything. Whenever I see or pass by even MSU, this was my starting place. So if today you have filled the paper, you feel that medicinal chemistry is very difficult,
Especially pharmaceutical
and thinking all that is super difficult, that will just go. Just you don't stop, don't quit. One day you are going to sit back, maybe that you are going to give interview to another person saying that this is worth it. That is my advice. So I would say yes, don't quit. It is going to be more difficult after this to find a job and then to sustain in a job and to manage your superiors, your bosses. It's going to be a very difficult thing. Sometimes I'll be waiting when I get my message. Today, class cancel, today, kerja cancel and things like that. But no, you don't get that. Enjoy every bit of your uni days. It's never going to be the same. Yes, so just don't quit. It's going to go worth it one day.
I think so that's all from us. Thank you so much.